Oh say, can you see? Standing for anthems, standing for colors. But which? Red, white, black and blue, or others? An endless loop that starts at birth without death. Recycle the hate and pain that's no need of breath. Let's break these cycles and change the pace. We all need a moment to reset and to save face. Day to day, night to night, we digest the bad. Well, CAC is back. Let's celebrate the rad. Say it with me. Papa Hanao Moko Wakea. Papa Hanao Moko Wakea. Papa Hanao Moko Wakea. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the largest protected environmental spot in the world. Now, originally signed off in the Pacific by George W. Bush, it has now been quadrupled its size by President Obama. It's about 582,578 square miles. Now, we all know that the ecosystems are very delicate on this planet. This one right here, center of the Pacific, has been seen to a lot of fishing and heavy deep sea mining as well. Here's Laysan Island, completely covered in trash coming from the ocean. They're not being visited by tourists. This is all dredged up from the ocean, spit back onto the land. And we already saw in a recent study, if you have not, take a look at it, that all the plastics and garbage thrown in the ocean are going to become the fossil record of our existence on this planet. I don't know if you feel proud about that. Personally, I do not. And again, I want to say thank you to all the scientists, the researchers, people in politics, including President Obama, for signing this bill and getting the protection this area needs while they try to clean up as much as possible. So, thanks, Obama. And now let me give you another piece of rad news about humanity, and this one's on a local level. This takes place in Natick, Massachusetts last month. This is Laurie and Carrie writing here. Now, they put on their house right after the terrible shootings that happened at the Pulse Club in Orlando, Florida, a peace pride flag outside their house. Now, while away on vacation, someone who is yet to be found took the flag down and egged the front of their house. Now, we can all put this down to maybe it was kids, maybe it was a real hate crime. We don't know that. But that disrespectful nature kind of left them a little heartbroken when they got back. But here's where the tears go from sadness to joy. Their neighborhood heard the story of what happened, and they reacted by getting together and lighting up the entire neighborhood with peace pride flags. They had children on bicycles deliver with a message these flags that they gathered together to all the houses in the neighborhood, and now over 40 houses in that community are all waving the peace pride flags. And this is another piece of awesome news happening right here in New England. I have enlightening news for you. That the world is actually moving towards peace. Grim, what are you talking about? Let me tell you about Steven Pinker. He's a cognitive scientist. He recently just came out with a bunch of gathered evidence from different researchers, and they noticed a trend. And here's one of those trends right here. The rate of death in war around the world globally. Even though we had that little bump up because of Syria recently, as of last year, that's still nothing but a mere fraction of what it used to be compared between the 60s through the 90s. And it's just not based on just this research as well. And there's Max Roser. He's an economist trained at Oxford University. His specialty is around global trends of living conditions here. Even when looking at civil wars involving foreign help, also colonial wars and wars between states or countries, as you would like to have it, has seen a dramatic decline. Now, you always hear about the United States' involvement in a lot of these wars here and a lot of places in strife. They're very serious. They still have to stay. They still need to be quelled. They need to be squashed down. But the good news is when it comes to the rate of death, it actually has declined dramatically as well. Now, when we talk about terrorism, we're coming up to the 15th anniversary of 9/11 here in the United States. Terrorism still is a issue, as it is worldwide, not just with one religion and one group. Everyone has their terrorists they have to deal with. Some even see the United States as terrorists, and those are for individual cases to be discussed at another time. But, 2015, Europe saw a lot of attacks, and it seemed like it was a scary place to go to with everything happening, because that's all we see on the news. Now, here's a piece of information. Between 1972 to 1992, the rates of death from terrorism in Europe were dramatically higher, even 2015. Now, let me bring it down to something that is more likely to kill you than war or terrorism, and that's homicide. And every country sees homicide. You hear about it daily on the news as well. Here's a graphic just to show you, and you'll see a trend here between Australia all the way up to, you guess, the United States. And you can see that actually when you talk about Australia, when you talk about Germany, they got a little bit more stricter laws. Look at the violent deaths by firearm per 1 million. And now look at the United States. Now, I, for one, I love having, guns available for people, having a right to have one. Absolutely. Restricted laws might be something you may want to look at here. Even though we have a higher rate of death by firearm, here's some actual good news. Violent crime in the United States, even though we had a slight bump in 2015, has actually dramatically decreased. Not as high as 2012. 2015 was bad. 2012 was pretty high. But still, it is a huge decrease from you see from the 60s, 70s, through the 80s. They've fallen down more than half. So let's bring this all together. Deaths from war, dramatic decline. Deaths from terrorism, dramatic decline. When it comes to violent crimes here in the United States, where homicide is more likely to kill you than a terrorist, and from war, it's actually been declining. Things that kind of correlate with that: literacy has been up, poverty has been down, life expectancy has increased on a global level. And it all kind of comes together. And you know what that means? We're actually getting closer day by day to world peace.
Oh yeah!
Bad news, you hear this place is scary, this place is scary, everywhere is scary, spooky, spooky, spooky. Here, this is not the bad news, this is the rad news, and we have a different point of view here. Now let me tell you about a couple of people that will change your minds on that. One is someone I always like looking up to and love listening to, and that's Henry Rollins. You might know him from Black Flag. He's had a few spots in films. But his big thing lately has been his spoken word. And if you've never heard of his spoken word or sing of it, you can find some of it on YouTube. I highly recommend just checking it out. It can open your eyes and ears to a lot of things and new perspectives on life. And one is traveling. Now, Henry Rollins has been told not to go certain places. You know what he does? He goes there. Now, let me tell you something. Stranger danger, it's kind of a myth at this point. Because everyone's a stranger until you meet them. So go out and meet people. Of course, he's going to be smart about it. But I'm going to show you another person who's a hero of mine and one of my closest friends, and that's Chelsea. Now, Chelsea went out this past spring into the early part of the summer to Europe by herself. Short little 5-foot girl. And a lot of people told her, don't go there. It's a scary place. There's terrorist attacks. There's, refugees, boogie men. No. She went out backpacking by herself for 2 months in 10 different countries in Europe. You know what she brought back? Culture, information, and names and new friendships with all these other people she met. And she still continues to talk to. And because of this, she started her own blog site, and I highly recommend you check it out. And here's the address below. It's Little Red Roaming, because she's little, red, and she likes to roam around. Why? Because you meet so many cool, interesting people. And because of this, she's learned her own tips on traveling that she hands out, places to go, how to save money, and just a free spirit and the cool, interesting places you go to, and things to see, people you meet. It's not that scary out there. And also on the blog, she actually writes about local places now to go to, because even in tiny New England, there are places still I've never even been to, and places I went, that exists? Now, next time you're out with your friends or your loved ones and you want to plan to go to the normal touristy spots, try something different, try something random, and roam around a bit. You never know who you're going to meet and what cool adventures you're going to have. Check out her blog and other blogs just like hers as well, of other local travelers as well, because you never know the cool stuff you're going to find and the awesome people you're going to meet. I'm Al-Khemia, and this was episode 3 of Rad News. I want to say thank you to everyone for all the support for the last couple of videos there. Please share this around to all the other cool people, and send me stuff too, because I'm going to learn as well. You teach me, I teach you all the cool stuff happening in this world. Now, I'm thinking about expanding this into YouTube, but until now, go to my videos on my Facebook to see previous episodes if you haven't yet. And to send you off, here are some awesome images of all the creatures in the sea, on the land, and in the air of Papahana Mokoakia that we are protecting. So, enjoy all the cute creatures.